upcoming first time ever.
We're doing a guest.
Got a guest coming.
We have a guest. We've gone this whole season. It's just been me and Watkins talking to you, and man, have I had fun. But a void that we've had is you probably need some other opinions.
Yeah,
we have a lot of hot and cold takes on this show. We could probably use a little moderator, maybe a guest.
Maybe a guest.
So we thought for our first, hopefully not last, postseason episode,
let's get a guest going.
Let's get a guest.
Let's get a guest. All right, we are back.
Here we go.
Playoff edition. Version 2, since last week was technically playoff edition.
Yep.
We are here. We know what's going to happen. We know where we're going to be on Saturday. We know how cold it's going to be at this point. The forecast is called up. I'm already cold thinking about it.
Yes.
Ohio State, first playoff game for Tennessee.
Here we go.
I couldn't be more excited.
It feels like we haven't played a football game in months. It's been like
Far too
2
long.
weeks-ish, but hey, it's finally game week. It's Ohio State hate week.
Lots of
Now
hate.
it gets serious now. It gets serious. All this
The most.
hypothetical, are we in the playoff? Where are we seated? We know, right? If you watched last week's episode, you know kind of how we think the bracket's going to shape out, but we intentionally left out the depth, the breakdown of this game, and that's for this episode right here, right now. Let's
Absolutely. On first glance,
go. Yep.
shocker, I feel really confident.
This is so. Someone out there needs to name it.
Yeah.
The progression of emotion from Sunday after a game until about the next week's game.
Yep.
And it's like Sunday, I'm like, a game like this, for example. Obviously, if we're playing Kentucky, it's like it don't matter. But
Of course.
game like this, I'm like, oh, this is going to be really tough. Like, I got to prepare myself for a loss. And then Monday, I'm like, man, it could be a really close game. I wonder, it depends on how Nico plays. And then Tuesday, I'm like, I think we could squeak one out there. Max Gilbert's on kicking field goals.
Good.
And then Wednesday, I'm like, well, Dylan Sampson probably is going to run for 200 yards. It still could be close, though. And come Friday, I'm like, it's all I know. Go Vols.
48
all I know.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it's like, I'm drawing up scenarios in my head where we're going to score 80, and it's like,
Wait, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, I'm just saying. But
domination.
we are getting towards that point.
There's probably some German word for it. They have words for everything over there. It's
I know.
Schmordenfrost or something like that. It means
I'm not.
the excitement and the growing anticipation.
Yes, there are English words for a variety of conditions that you never would really think to define. Maybe it's one of those.
Probably.
Who cares? Maybe that's something we are known for. Maybe we create a term for said feeling. But
I'm here for it.
You already feel fantastic.
Always.
Walk me through it. Why?
And watching a lot of Ohio State over the last little bit, I think where they are weak, we are good.
Yep.
Where they are good, we're pretty good.
Okay.
That's a good recipe for success.
It's solid.
So,
yeah.
if you're looking at them, their wide receivers, incredibly talented. I think the best wide receiver room in the country. By kind of a lot. You look at Jeremiah Smith, who's the next him. He's
100%.
unbelievable as a freshman. 960 yards and 10 touchdowns or something as a true freshman. Unbelievable. Yeah, Cornell Tate, who's fantastic. They've got a former 5-star Brandon who can't even really see the field. They've got tight ends.
Ibuka, too.
Ibuka. They've got the tight end, Christian, I think his name, something like that.
I'll look it up. I had it right here.
But just pass catchers galore. And so I think when you're talking about depth, we're pretty good in the secondary. It's potentially, I think linebacker might be our weakest spot on the defense. But again, I think all of our defense is good. It's just if you're looking for one that's slightly less, it's, maybe the secondary. But even then, Jamal McCoy's incredible.
Yes.
Ricky Gibson's really, really good. Bukar looks like a stud as a freshman. The safety's got Will Brooks, White Lightning. You've got Andre Turrentine, you've got Christian Charles, you've got all these guys that are all really good players. They're not maybe not the 5-star that Jeremiah Smith was. But I think their wide receiver room concerns me just with the sheer amount of talent they have in that room.
And they've held their own.
Yeah, 100%.
When our defense, very rarely this season, but when our defense has struggled, it's really we give up run. Low run defense here and there.
Yeah.
But we've only, I say that not as we have a run defense problem. No, we're one of the best in the country in that category.
It's occasionally you get
in the Georgia game.
Yep. Really, when we're talking about this, it's Georgia and Arkansas. Everything else we've
100%.
stood up on.
In Arkansas, man, we couldn't have really played much better defensively.
Yeah, it was great. It was good play on offense. Their tight ends that I mentioned, did you find his name?
Bennett Christian.
I nailed it, Christian. He's a really good player. So I'm a little concerned there with our linebacker matchup, just based off what Georgia did in the tight end game. So that one is a little bit of a concern. But, I think, again, AC, T-Lander, all those guys can step up. Obviously, Jalen Smith's not with the team anymore. But we have linebackers that are more than capable of stepping up. Do they? And I think they will.
Yeah, 100%. That is a matchup to circle. I think, too, I wonder what we're going to do. Tim Banks, as our defensive coordinator, has not shown that he will have corners follow receivers. Yep. And I wonder if he starts doing that this week because of how good Jeremiah Smith is. But it's also like, he's their one. I don't think anyone's really going to argue that. But like their 2 and their 3 are pretty good too. Yeah. So if you're taking your best DB, Jeremiah McCoy, and say follow Jeremiah wherever he goes, like I don't really think that does anything.
Yeah, I hope personally that they don't do that just because we haven't done it. And like in my mind, it's not very difficult to switch. But like if you're used to playing on the left side, your safety's on your right. Like if you go to your left and you maybe shade a little bit and it catches you out of position, like I think that's opening you up for a potential gap, big play. So I would just stick to what we're doing and just execute at a high level. I think that's the key on defense. And as always, pressure is king.
100%.
Our defensive line is incredible. We all know that. Their offensive line, a little banged up. Making sure that we get pressure on Will Howard, who I do not think is a very good quarterback. I will say that on record right now. I think he's serviceable.
Will Howard, you suck.
You suck. Yeah. Who was it I did that?
Grayson McCall.
Grayson McCall, you suck. Yeah. Will Howard, you suck. Yeah. Call it again. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a fine college quarterback. But we saw in the Michigan game, he really struggled in that game. They got a lot of pressure. I think that's the recipe for them. And I think we have the defensive line to do it. Now, Michigan, one of the most talented defensive line rooms in the country. Yes. I think ours is also. So, like, just trying to replicate what they did is, I think, a key for us.
We're on par 100%. And I think if they have learned, you got to think, people are talking, fire Ryan Day, like their failures. It's like their fan base, their school, their athletic department is very similar to ours in terms of the fact that the expectations are always sky high, which, typically good you reason. Do that because you're winners, right? So, good. But if Ryan Day and his staff go back and sit and they say, okay, we're just going to try to, rinse and repeat what we did against Michigan. Well, I really like our chances, but
our chances
I'm going to go out on a wing and say that Ryan Day is smarter than that. And we will have to see how they attack us.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned pressure. Pressure is the absolute key because I do not think they're going to run the ball. I don't think they're going to try to run the ball because they got themselves in a whole lot of trouble trying to run the ball.
I have little to no respect for Ryan Day as a football coach. But it would be shockingly dumb if he tried to run the ball again in a heavy way coming off that Michigan game. Like, you just got destroyed doing it. You are dumber than I thought you were if you try to do that again.
100%. So
let's
just go on a limb and assume that makes a smart decision and tries to utilize his receivers that are the best in the country. Thanks, Brian Hartline.
Yeah.
If he does that, that's when we dial up. That's when we rush the passer. That's when, like, those DNs, the James Pierce, Do
you think there's a scenario that he's such a bad, dumb coach because of all the hair dye? It's like seeped into his brain.
It's tough, dude. He either is like...
My man looks like he got up, took a Sharpie, and like rolled it on his beard.
It's rough.
It's horrible.
It's rough. And the amount of money that dude probably spends on products, he gets paid probably $10 million. It's probably a little chunky portion of that.
They famously say LeBron James spends $1 million a year to like treat his body right. Ryan Day spends $1 million to keep his beard jet black every 2 seconds.
100%. It's like, it's almost uncomfortable. It's whoa.
Like, I think, sometimes he holds a play card up in his face. He's like getting a little bit more just for men on there. Like, just
when he runs out, he's using eye black.
Yeah,
that's why it's so
trying to make sure it's covered.
Man, that can't be good for your skin.
With an astute comparison.
And how cold.
He's got a lot of Butch Jones vibes. Too.
Yes,
that's
100%.
A good call.
100%. Thanks, producer. Yeah, man, it's rough. It's rough.
The guy was born on third and thought he hit a triple.
Yes.
You didn't hit a double. You got so much talent. You're coming off an Urban Meyer program and you hadn't done anything.
Not a thing. And
Michigan 4 years in a row, right?
I know. It's tough. This year's even worse because Michigan hit a stretch where
they were
3 straight playoffs.
This year they were not very good.
No.
And they are.
You got them as bad as they're going to be.
They walked you. Came in there and smacked you around.
100%.
Maybe that's causing me too much confidence because they went to the shoe. They weren't even that good this year. And they just had their way with them.
Yeah. Which, that game, they placed a lot of emphasis on that game, and clearly they psyched themselves out, as you can see the last 4 years. Because even one thing, I'll go back on what I just said is like, this is a bad Michigan team. So them losing this year's worse than they had the previous series. They've had some stacked rosters the last 4 years. Ohio State has.
Yeah.
So losing any game is like, bro, what are you doing?
You shouldn't lose any game with the amount of talent they have. It's crazy.
No,
if we're talking a coaching matchup, we talk, some of the offense, defense, like coaching matchup, give me Heupel all day.
100%.
And twice on Sunday, maybe 6 times. Like,
come on.
Ryan Day, what are we doing?
But a clear trend of this program under this coach with these guys is that they do not come to play when the lights turn on.
They're soft.
They're soft. They have gotten so used to being so good for so long that when it matters, when rubber hits the road, it is like they come expect to win, and the moment they get smacked in the face,
no adversity. They don't know how to overcome adversity.
Which, man, if the Vols have gone through anything this year, it is adversity. All we do, and it's a lot of it's self-inflicted.
Yeah,
a lot of it's horribly self-inflicted.
Well, that's you bring that up in watching some of the Ohio State film. They crushed bad teams.
Yes,
struggled mightily against Michigan. Like we learned how to win close games a lot.
100%.
Like, oh, if this isn't working well, all right, let's do this. This isn't working, let's do this. Like, I don't know that they know how to do that up there.
100%.
Like, they're used to, all right, Jeremiah Smith's running wide open, we're going to hit him, everything's going great. Like, you get punched in the mouth, they showed they don't want any part of that.
They have their fastball.
Yeah.
They know how to throw their fastball real good.
It's Randy Johnson in his prime. They're throwing gas. They got all the talent.
And it works, but man, if you time it up.
It leaves pretty fast too.
100%. And I think if you were to, I love this little comparison. This is off the dome. If you were to compare us, I mean, we are just that funky closer. It's we got curveball, we got fast, we got all sorts, we can find ways to 100%. Win. That's, Coach Hype preaches that. 3 phases of the game, find a way to win. Good teams find a way to win. And I think in this matchup, we're that good team. Yeah,
now flipping to the other side of the ball, we kind of talk about our defense. Like on offense, really playing much better down the stretch.
Yes.
I think everybody, like the national guys are all, Tennessee could be a dark horse because Nico's starting to play better. Mm-hmm. Offenses, if it plays well, like we lost Arkansas because our offense was terrible that game. Happens. Bad games happen. Georgia, really good football team. It was closer than the score, in my opinion. Second half was bad offensively. Defensively, like just was, again, good team. Happens.
Right.
At Georgia, very different. A little worried that we're going on the road. A little worried about the cold. Mostly me attending. I'm afraid I'm going to freeze to death. At the end of the day, though, we talk about this off air. Like, we run the football.
Yes.
Really, really well.
Yes.
You know what you do when it's cold? You run the football.
And you play defense.
And as dumb as some of the penalties our offensive linemen get, they like to get nasty occasionally. You got John Campbell running down 30 yards that hit somebody after the whistle. You got Spraggins always about to kill somebody. Go be nasty offensive line.
The story's there. Like, this is building up. Obviously, we're not the favored team, but if any of y'all have any form of social media, which you probably do because you're watching this show, you've seen the invasion, which it may be a tad overstated. We will see. I will be reporting live
in comparison to like what we were supposed to get 3,500 tickets. Saturday it's 20,000 tickets. That's an invasion of an away game
for a true road game.
Yeah, that's an invasion.
We will take it 100%. So. You got a bigger fan presence there than you could have ever expected.
100%.
We talk about the cold. We'll see.
I don't think the players will care that much. Personally, I think I'm going to care again. I bought a heated vest for this. I've got like 4 pairs of gloves, 7 socks. Like I'm going to freeze. I don't love cold.
Yes.
I like to be inside.
But we're not playing.
But I'm not playing.
We're not playing.
I'm in the stands.
Listen, Dylan Sampson was on Feinbaum. He ain't wearing sleeves. None of these guys are wearing sleeves. Man, it's go time. It is go time. And I'll say it too, it's kind of cold in Knoxville. Like, it's not like we're in, I
was in Gatlinburg this weekend. It was freezing.
It's not that bad. Well, we're not in Austin, Texas, just soaking up 90-degree weather right now. Like, it's...
If you polled Ohio State's fan base, they'd probably think Tennessee's in, like, the Bermuda. Like, they don't know where we are. Like... They think it's 78 and sunny here right now. It ain't. I'm cold now.
Right, 100%. And Nico, he's from California. Cool. Like, he's been here for 2 years. Don't matter. Like, it's funny that they keep talking about the weather. If it was snowing, different. 100%.
Snow game, everything's out the window.
Everything's out the window. But guess what? They're playing in it too. Yeah. You think Jack Sawyer's just pumped that it's going to be 15 degrees? No. Right? And I'll tell you what. Going out on a limb here, again, Ohio State's probably got an indoor facility. They're probably practicing inside this week.
100%.
So, like, You know,
just in Rocky IV, they're not training in the
Just for Men probably freezes up real good, right? So Ryan Day's got to keep that face warmer on.
He's not gonna like it. He's gonna wear that face warmer, and it's gonna be black when he takes it off and will die. So yeah, like the fans, it's been hilarious to watch on Twitter. Watching another fan base that doesn't interact with Tennessee fans on Twitter learn
really
about
get
Twitter.
Acclimated with it.
Oh, buddy.
It's one of a kind.
We're going to have a little guest later, and a person that he works with got onto Twitter and made some derogatory comments about Tennessee. That moron is an Ohio State fan that didn't know that Andre Turrentine played at Ohio State. Some fan that guy is. And Andre Turrentine just said, the shoe's not that loud. It's not. Like, it's not. He would know. He's played there.
Been there.
Like,
played snaps.
Their fan base is just trying to troll our fan base has been hilarious to me. Like, they all think we are inbred hillbillies, don't wear shoes in our 80-degree weather all the time. Well, guess what? That hillbilly fan base is coming for an invasion.
100%. And it's clear, like, with how much access we have to each other now with social media and just the internet, it's like, do your research. Look it up. Like, Vol Twitter fired a coach, okay? Like, don't come at us. Don't do that. It's not smart, right? If you're trying to get your feelings hurt, well, then be my guest. Yeah. But at this point, ahead of a game, ahead of the biggest game of both of our seasons at this point, I mean, it's win or go home. It's ride or die. We've made it here this far. You're going to come and tell a guy who played for your team that your own stadium is louder than Neyland when guess what? You haven't been there, man. You haven't been there.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. That's why I am very excited to go to the shoe because I have always been told it's not all that. But I don't want to form an opinion. Right. I want to take my friend's point of view. But now I get my own point of view. So we can sit here next week when we're preparing for Pasadena and I can say it ain't all that.
We will see. It was cold.
It's really cold.
It wasn't very loud.
Right? Neyland's a little bit warmer, but not that much. Like it's still in Knoxville.
It's crazy. I think the environment should be very good.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a bunch of their fans talk about the next game a lot. Even Ryan Day kind of talked about the next game. Like you're looking a little ahead. Now we always thought fans can do that. Players cannot. But the fans, like, you can't look, it's the playoffs. You can't look past that game. Like, you can look past UTEP. You can't look past us in the first round of the playoffs.
First round of the playoffs?
It's crazy. What are we doing?
We talked a little bit about it last time, and I know we got to get to our special guest, but I want to pose a question. Ryan Day's lost 4 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't beat him since a weird 2020 season.
Yep.
Where they played 4 games or something like that.
Yeah. Try not to have football. Not a real football school.
Yeah, no. If we win on Saturday, which I can guess that we're going to predict is going to happen. Is Ryan Day gone? Is that it?
I would fire him.
If I were
Ross Bjork, I would fire him. I just
can't do it.
Don't even go back in the locker room. Just there's the exit. Yep. See yourself out. Don't let the door hit you.
We'll see you.
I mean, I'd
hop
fire
in the car.
him. It's crazy.
It is.
Let's talk offense. We talked about running the football a little bit. Wide receivers, I think, can have a great game against this secondary. Talented secondary. Spent a lot of money on that roster. Yeah. Good secondary, very talented. But I don't know that it's the best secondary I've ever seen.
No, is it the best secondary we've faced? I mean, Georgia's was pretty good.
Yeah, I was saying.
Bama's was not.
Bama's was not. From a talent standpoint, it's them or Georgia. I don't know. I think their run defense is really good up the middle, and I think they get some pressure.
Oh, gosh. We'll get this back on here in a second. We got like kind of the twilight. There we go.
They get some pressure. I think Nikhil Williams, I was telling you about earlier, a monster up front inside for them. 6'3", like 330 or something, like big guy, like clogs up the middle. Their defense overall is very good. Like I can't say it's a poor defense. Yeah. It's just a matter of do we out execute them? Does hype scheme somebody open? Do we get Dante for a big pass? Yep. Spoiler alert for me later. As long as we execute, I think we're fine. This game will come, especially from a Tennessee offense perspective, it will come down to 2 or 3 plays. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Where we break one or we don't. Yep. It's like, this is not going to be just a, bomb over the top all day. It's not. As much crap as we're talking about. Yeah, and like I said, they shouldn't overlook us. We can't overlook them. Like there's a reason they were at one point like the 1 or 2 seed. Like there's a reason that they are in the playoffs. Like they're a very good football team from top to bottom. One of the most talented rosters in football. You got to come out. You got to execute. Nico's got to take another step. Like you've got to. I think everybody knows Dylan Sampson. Yep. Everybody knows he's going to dominate. He's going to be great. Nico's the difference maker. He is.
He's got to be. And it may not be to the tune of 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, but it's got to be his decision-making.
Yep.
Cannot turn the ball over.
Correct.
Need to maybe run a little bit.
You got to use your legs. You got to keep be dynamic. Got to keep them honest and, like, take advantage of the opportunities when they're there.
Yes.
Like, if Dante's open on the post route, throw it to him.
Got to go.
Hit it. Like, you got to make those plays when they're there. Because they're not going to give you, a ton of free plays.
No.
They just don't.
Not at all. And I mean, I think we look at, they lost to a bad Michigan team. Well, they gave up 13 points to a bad Michigan team. It's not like it was 45.
It's us versus Arkansas. Like, it's not that the defense didn't play well.
Yes.
The defense still played really well. It's their offense couldn't score.
Yes, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but, I mean, they gave up 32 points to Oregon.
Yep.
Far and away best team in the country. No one's going to fight you on that one. Outside of that, I don't think they gave up over 24.
Yeah, I don't think so. Holding Oregon a super high powered offense to 32, pretty good.
Pretty dang good. So we've said this, I sound like a broken record right now, but we've said this multiple times this season, is that this game is won our offense versus their defense.
100%.
I don't think they go in and score 30 points. I don't think it's possible. I don't think they have the quarterback for it. I think we have the defense to stop them from doing so. But if we're looking pure matchup-wise on a side of the ball, it is our offense, their defense.
They have only given up 20-plus points once this year to Oregon.
Everything else below that?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Great defense.
That's what I'm saying.
It's elite. Like, we can't get on here and pretend it's not. So we got to step up and have a good game. It would be crazy if somebody predicted, like, 30 points. Like,
I know.
Who would do that?
It'd be wild.
Who would do that? But now we're going to take a quick pause. I wish we had business. On the podcast, I was like, we're going to pause to do some business. And then we do an ad read. We don't have that yet. If you would like to have an ad read on here, please slide into our DMs.
We could plug the playoff merchandise.
Oh, let's play playoff merchandise.
So it is, it's getting cold. We've talked about that. And we're in the playoffs. First time ever. Pretty sick. And something we like to do anytime something big happens here at the Ball Club is make merch for it. So I'm wearing one of our brand new playoff hoodies. Behind us is a plethora of playoff shirts. We got a couple others on the way.
Those were back there.
There you go. See, we have a pretty sweet beanie. Don't have that yet, or else I'd be wearing it.
Yeah, I'm wearing it this weekend.
I'm a big beanie guy.
I love a beanie. Love a good beanie.
But yeah, it's all discounted right now too. So on the website, volclub.com, Vol Club Outfitters.
Is that the OSU football?
Yeah.
Good. Use promo code OSUFB.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Amazing. Good job, great troll.
Just, get you an extra 20% off. Get it for the family. It's holiday shopping season, but you shouldn't need a reason to get ball football playoff merch.
My wife tells me all the time I buy too much.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not really a problem. Man, if that's your problem, you're fine.
It's a good problem. It's a good problem
to have.
All right, so now, upcoming first time ever.
We're doing a guest.
Got a guest coming.
We have a guest. We've gone this whole season. It's just been me and Watkins talking to you, and man, have I had fun. But a void that we've had is we probably need some other opinions.
Yeah,
we have a lot of hot and cold takes on this show. We could probably use a little moderator, maybe a guest. So we thought for our first, hopefully not last, postseason episode,
let's get a guest going.
Let's get a guest.
Big T, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So,
of course.
Big game for the Tennessee Volunteers, but a big game for you as well. So you're coming to Columbus. Tell everybody a little bit about what that entails for you on the Barstool side, because it's a little different than just coming as a fan.
That's actually changed. Breaking news. So our college football show will be there. Dave, Big Cat, Brandon, Casey will all be there doing the Barstool College Football Show. We've gone back and forth many times on if I was going to go, if Ohio State, one of our Ohio State fans was going to go. We're going to stay here in Chicago. We're going to be streaming the game. They might get back as the game's starting, maybe a little later, which is why we're going to stay here so that we don't miss any of it. But the college football show will be there. It'll be awesome. It'll be a great time. So everybody that's there should go check that out. And I'm sure it will be quite a scene there. So
you'll probably be a little bit warmer in that studio than we will be in the stadium.
We'll get into it. I actually like that for us, but
Yeah, I think so too. The Steamers are probably seeing the look of heartbreak on my face because I'm learning in real time that you're not going to be there.
Yeah. I only found out like an hour ago, and I was like, "Well, I'll talk to you in a minute, and you'll find out." So I
also wanted to tell Ohio State I wanted to see him in person, but that's fine. I'll watch.
Yeah, I think we'll be here. I'll see you. I'll see you in Pasadena, though.
There you go. Yes, there you go.
Let's go.
Ideally.
So. We're going to say yes because we always pick Tennessee to win. But let's talk about that. Like, what are your thoughts on the game and the matchup with Ohio State? Give us a little bit of a breakdown there.
Well, y'all mentioned the weather. I have two thoughts on the weather. The first one is I don't think people know where Knoxville is.
Correct.
I think they think it's like the same as Gainesville, Florida, or College Station, Texas. It's in the mountains. Like, it gets really cold there.
It's cold here right now. Like, what are we talking about?
It snowed the other day. So that's one. Two, I think make it as cold as you want. I think the cold helps us tremendously. Let's run the football.
I agree. Like, everybody's like, Big Ten's a running conference. Like, we run the football much better than they do. Like, I'll take
They tried to run the football in their last game. It did not go well. I don't know if y'all have seen it.
No, the whole world's seen it at this point. We were just talking about like the Tennessee running game is the strength of our football team. 1,000%. No one's really going to fight you on that, at least offensively. Ohio State has to work around their running game. I mean, they have to, if they can't establish it early on, they completely ditch it, and it's just Will Howard versus the world that saves.
Will Howard's got a noodle for an arm. He's awful. So I'll take that matchup all day. So if you're looking at the game, we'll get into game predictions in a second. Who are kind of like, what are the matchups that you think that we can take advantage of?
Dylan Sampson obviously is our guy. We need 150, I think. I loved the use of Dante Thornton against Vanderbilt. I think going back to him, he's scored on that one little slant 4 or 5 times this year. Run that play 7 times.
Keep doing it. Why do we do anything else? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think Thornton could have a big game. And I'm hopeful that the secondary will hold up against their receivers because you can't run the ball on us, which is great. But when you're facing a team that has the firepower they have on the outside, maybe you want to. Maybe in the first quarter we let them get like a 13-yard run and just think they can keep doing it.
Well, false confidence. That.
Yeah, and then they keep going to it like they did against Michigan, and then we shut it down.
Is there an area that you're concerned about that they are going to take advantage of us?
It's secondary. That's it.
That's me too.
I think if you go position group by position group, it's like maybe 4-3 Ohio State. Like, I think our defensive line is definitely better. I think our quarterback is better.
Yep.
I think the offensive line with the guys they have out is better. So, like, you go position group by position group, but it's not like a tremendous advantage for them, but their receivers are incredible. So,
it's a loaded room.
We're gonna
I don't understand how they have that much talent.
Year in, year out. I saw Hartline was interviewing for.
Yeah, I need him to take that.
One of the jobs. Go.
Please.
The fact that he's been not even a coordinator there for so long anywhere is impressive.
Rolling in talent.
That's why they just pump in, pump out 5 stars.
All right, so now let's dive into the stuff that everybody's here for. We are the most accurate prediction show on the planet for Tennessee football.
And we've been saying that all year, Big T. No one's tried to come and say we're wrong.
No one's refuted it, so it must be right.
There
That's
we go.
what the internet told me.
They know not to fight that fight.
All right, so let's go first. We're going to let our guest of honor go first. We're going to start with Nico, or quarterback. If you want to throw a gas and more prediction out there, by all means go for it. But
my guest.
Probably going to stick with Nico.
Can I take Gaston Moore over half a passing yard?
Yes,
you can. That's what you want to do.
Yes, you can. Let's go.
No. So what am I? I'm predicting just yards?
Yeah, so you give Nico's stat line. So how many yards, how many touchdowns?
I think Nico passes for 223 yards and 1 touchdown but that is given that Dylan Sampson is running wild.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thomas?
We'll get to Dylan next. I got very similar, 210, 1 touchdown. I got 55 yards on the ground.
All right. As always,
I would love to see, sorry to cut you off, Will. I would love some more Nico run game. We did some of that against Vanderbilt, and it was tremendously effective.
I think it's essential to us winning. I think the entire state of Ohio, maybe all of America, knows that Dylan Sampson's going to be the focal point on Saturday. So the more Nico can run, the more pressure it takes off of him. They got to load the box, and that's when you get those long passes, the slant to Dante that goes 100%. For 70. So,
as always, I'm the resident optimist here. I like to predict, as the Steamers know, crazy stat lines. And if they don't hit, it's not my fault. The players just didn't play well enough.
Players, coaches, officials. Yep.
So I'm going to go Nico, 285 yards.
Let's go.
3 touchdowns, 50 yards on the ground.
Okay.
Coming out party.
Yes.
In the snow. Everybody's like, oh, he's Polynesian. He's from California. He doesn't like the cold. Well, we'll figure that out.
Might as well.
He's gonna have a game.
Let me see what
legacy game.
I don't know if y'all do any wagering talk on your show. Let me see what the Will Watkins parlay can give me. You said 280?
280. I'm gonna go 285. That's like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
You said 3.
3. I also black out in the middle of the show and just say numbers.
Yeah, we have to go. We don't write these down for the most part.
Plus 2,100. I'm gonna put that in.
There it is. Not that anyone would wager, as we always say. Who would gamble?
Who would gamble? Can't gamble.
Entertainment purposes only. Only wager what you can afford to lose as a form of entertainment.
Somebody knows the mantra
sir.
there.
Thank you, sir. 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, so that's it. Running back, Dylan Sampson. I'll go first this time because I'm going to be stupid high.
Might as well.
160 yards and a touchdown. He's gotten a little slower. I think he's gotten a little slower on the touchdown run. Like, he doesn't score quite as much the last couple of games. Like, he was like, 4 to start the year, 2 every game. We've shared that wealth a little bit. Deshaun Bishop's back. Peyton Lewis, we're going to throw the ball.
A little bit more, too.
I can't predict 6 touchdowns because we're not going to score 100. But I'm going to go Dylan Sampson, 160 and 1 touchdown.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think it's that crazy at all. I'm a little bit below you. I got 145 in a score.
Okay.
I mean, this could be a game where he gets 30 carries. It very much could.
I'm here for it if that happens. All right, Big T.
Yeah, I don't think that's high at all. I had 140 and 2.
There it is. There you go. All right. So, big game if all of this happens.
That's what I'm saying.
I like the way this looks. And now, into the pass catcher, wide receiver, tight end, where we never get them right.
No.
We're accurate on everything else except for this part. Thomas, you lead us off.
So, Dante's should be the clear choice here. And I think Watkins, for the longest time, you couldn't predict Dante because he was having good games. And whenever you did,
I jinxed him.
Jinx is over.
Jinx is broken.
I figure that might be your prediction. I went with Brew McCoy.
Okay.
He's gotten better as the year's gone on. This will be reflected in my score prediction. I don't think this is a high-scoring game at all. I think Brew's going to catch a few balls. I think it's to the tune of like 65 yards in a score. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
I can see this being an absolute dogfight from start to finish.
I love it.
Brew's kind of that reliable guy.
I mean, if you're in a dogfight, Brew's the guy you're going to throw to. Let him get some tough yards.
That's the thought.
Sense.
That's the thought.
All right, Big T, your pass-catching prediction.
So I talked about hopefully Thornton has a big game, but I guess we said we're not going to use him. I have bet Miles.
He's available
you
for
can.
you.
Hey,
no, it's fine. It's fine. No, I have another one.
Okay.
I've bet Miles Kitselman touchdown every single game this season since, was it NC State? I think NC State, he scored his first one, and then I bet it every game since then. I think Miles Kitselman has 57 yards and a touchdown.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So it is to me, and you were right. I'm on the Dante train, have been all year. Wanted to talk about him all year, couldn't all year because I was jinxing him. Jinx is broken.
Yeah, we got
Dante's back. 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dante Thornton.
Let's go.
Love that.
Like, I think for all the reasons we just talked about, you're going to run that one slant, draw him in with the run, let him go. And if it's cold, if it's, it's supposed to snow on Friday potentially, the field's a little sloppy, that's good for pass catchers.
It is.
You can make that cut. They don't know where you're going to be. Sign me up for Dante Thornton. Let's take advantage of it.
Ohio State secondary is not.
It's not great.
It's not as. They got some players in there too.
But
so I mean, if he can
for what they've paid for that secondary, it's not the most shut down I've ever seen. 100%. So I'll take my chances with Dante.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, into the worst one.
Absolute worst one, hardest to predict.
Talk about coin flips.
We've never been even close. I was close when I was predicting just our middle linebacker, but that's so boring. Like,
nobody wants to do that.
We gotta spice it up. was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, I could pick, Jermon McCoy. We picked Boo Carter 17 times. Yeah. I'm going to pick the whole defense. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to pick the whole defense. And I'm thinking, if you took the stats for the whole defense, we got 2 picks, 5 sacks.
2 picks and 5 sacks.
2 picks, 5 sacks.
I think changing the rules on us in the middle. Okay.
Yep, you didn't know.
Taking a blanket statement. All right.
Special episode. We have our first ever guest.
I'm going to take the defense and predict they play. What are we doing here? All right. No,
2 picks and 5 sacks. That's pretty dang good. Okay.
That's a lot.
I'm just saying. It's a lot. That is a tune of dominance. Absolute dominance.
Fair. I mean, it's Will Howard. He walks out on the field and throws a pick. So
he could.
I mean, we'll see. All right. Big T, give us a defensive position pick, an actual player pick this time, please.
What if I told you I've seen how the game ends?
Oh. You've seen it. Prophesy.
I've seen it.
Big T Damas.
Okay.
Tell it to us.
It's with a Will Brooks interception.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
What a way.
I love it.
As it was written in October, so it shall be in December. Will Brooks,
here for it.
Last possession. Tennessee is up by a score that we'll reveal in a second. Will Howard drops back, and White Lightning comes in, grabs it, and that's it.
My heart's racing right now.
Chills.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
All right. I should let him go last.
I don't know. You can't top that.
I am going to go to old reliable, as everybody knows, one of my favorite players on the team, James Pierce.
Yep. Might as well.
I've got 2 sacks by himself.
Okay.
So you've got 5 sacks. I got James Pierce getting 2 sacks.
Contribute to the team total.
Offensive line's banged up for them. We'll see, but James Pierce has done really well in money games, like the games against the best opponents, playing his best football. No bigger game, no bigger stage. Go make your money.
Yeah.
Your first round pick, you slid a little bit down the draft boards. Time to climb back up into that top 5.
Whole world's watching.
You got the eyes on you. Let's go make some plays.
Remind them who 2-7
James
is.
Pierce, 2 sacks.
All about it.
I won't even say tackles because y'all didn't do it in depth. 2 sacks. That's my prediction. All right.
Let's go.
And now what everybody's here to see.
Final
score predictions.
Final score.
I'll let you go first, then I'll go, and then we'll end with our guest of honor.
So I mentioned dogfight. I mean, I don't see how both of these teams have been going through the year. Ohio State scored a little bit more than we have. We've been pretty consistent running the ball. Given the weather, given the nature of the strength of both defenses, I just can't see this being a high-scoring game. Obviously, Vols are going to come out on top, though. You will not catch me predicting otherwise. I think 20-17, Vols win.
Okay. All right, 2017.
It's nail-biter. I mean, I'm telling you, we talked about when Bama came to town. I mean, it was dogfight from the moment they stepped on the field till that clock hit 0.
I like it. All right.
I think it's very much the same.
You're zigging, I'm zagging. I've seen a bunch of playoff games the last couple of years. I feel like the over hits, I think I saw like 70% of the time.
Okay.
Not that anybody gambles.
No, don't do that.
I think, especially these are 2 teams that are top 5 in scoring on defense. Like, it just feels like everybody's expecting the under. I think it's like 47.5 or something like that. I think it's in the over. I think it's 2 teams that are good on offense, but great on defense. I think you zig when you should zag. Like, everybody expects a low-scoring game. I'm going to go high-scoring game.
Okay.
I've got the Tennessee Volunteers 38, Ohio State 31.
Wow.
So there's my prediction. Big T, the floor is yours. Our guest of honor, first ever guest selection. Give us your score prediction.
I'm honored. Did you say the total was 47.5?
I believe that's what it was.
I didn't know that, but my prediction was 27-21 Tennessee.
Oh, there it is.
Right on the line.
A man that knows good instinct on the line.
They need a touchdown at the end, and that's when Will Brooks gets his interception.
That's it.
18 seconds remaining.
I wish I could gamble on that specifically.
If that happens.
This clip's going, we're going to do numbers.
Yeah, this show will go viral.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. You might get hired by a casino. I know you got deals with Barstool.
Sportsbook.
Yeah.
No free ads, though.
No free ads. No, we don't.
It's not free. They paid for it. I guess not on y'all's show, but.
Yeah, for you, not me. But yeah, that works. All right. So, Steamers, thank you guys again for an episode. BT, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes,
appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Breaking down the game. Sad I won't see you in Columbus. Very sad, but I will see you in Pasadena.
We got 3 more games to make up for it.
Let's go.
Yes, we do.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya. Go Vols.